Well, welcome everyone to the 2025 Convocation for the James C. Wyant College of Optical Sciences. And welcome. And my name is Tom Koch, Dean of the College, and it's a great pleasure to have you all here and welcome you. Really thank you for joining us all to celebrate the success of all those overachievers you saw come into the room. So it's a remarkable group of students and talent that we're really happy to see graduating. So tomorrow evening in the football stadium, our new president, Garamella, will officially award the degrees to thousands of students at the university's 161st commencement. And that'll include 105 of the students in the Wyant College of Optical Sciences. Today, 59 of those 105 students are with us to celebrate with their friends and family, all of you. And we're really glad that you're able to join us for the celebration that will include 19 bachelor students, 24 master's students, and 16 PhD students. So today's convocation is a great pleasure. Tomorrow's will be fun. There'll be fireworks and whatnot. But today we have the ability to individually recognize each student. So it's a little more of an intimate gathering. It's not quite as intimate as our winter gathering where we have only a handful of students. And I think I scared the daylights out of a few students because I told them at that convocation, we spontaneously asked the students to explain to the audience what their PhD was all about. And so it's like an instant elevator talk and they get petrified. So we're not going to do that today, maybe just to a few of you. So really it's a very solemn occasion. We're here to officially induct these students into the Order of the Jedi Knights of Optics. And students, indeed, you're going to get your own personal lightsaber, a fully functioning lightsaber. Unfortunately, it's in a galaxy far, far away, and it just didn't get here in time for the event, so I apologize for that. All right, joking aside. Today, I think all the students will acknowledge that this moment is a culmination of many years of hard work. And these outstanding students have worked together and worked very hard doing all the homework, all the study, all the classes that they had to take, and then their research projects in many instances as well. So I know the students will agree. So let's all give them a round of applause for that. And I will also have to add that your achievements as students, as remarkable as you are, have often only been possible through the support of your family, your friends, and others. Sometimes it's financial support, sometimes it's spiritual support, and oftentimes both. And many of your family and friends are here in attendance for you. So I'm going to ask all of the students if you can stand and give a round of applause to everyone here who's helped you get to where you are today. So our optics community is a pretty tight-knit family. And over the years, we've now issued 3,800 optics degrees since our founding in about 1964. And that includes over 160 certificates, 800 bachelor's degrees. That was the newest addition to our program. 1,800 master's degrees and nearly 1,100 PhD students. So this is actually a significant part of the optics and photonics workforce in the US. And that makes it a really interesting community. And so students, you will encounter your fellow Jedi Knights. Undoubtedly, over the years, they'll be there to collaborate with you on projects. You'll remember people you've met and you'll call on them to help you do things and support you as you pursue your career and professional advancement. So don't be afraid to lean on your family, your new family. So these are heady times for the Optics College here at the university and all of our partners on campus. And our faculty, students, and alumni, they participate in a huge number of really amazing projects involving optics, and examples like the OSIRIS-REx asteroid landing mission. I'm sure some of you heard about that. Working with our colleagues in the Steward Observatory to make the most humongous, that's a technical term, humongous telescopes in history right here on campus, starting with molding the optics and polishing 8.4 meter diameter mirrors that get assembled into an 80-foot diameter telescope down in Chile. And also entirely new, innovative space telescopes that are just getting underway today. So it's exciting stuff. We have a Center for Quantum Networks, and our co-director for that is here with us, Saikat Guha. And that's working together with an amazing team of core partners and the College of Engineering. Partners include Harvard, MIT, UMass, University of Maryland, and it's exploring what I'll call the uncharted waters of the future quantum internet. So this would enable the connection and entanglement of quantum computers on the scale of the country, and new kinds of sensing networks that will be able to do things that were just physically impossible before. So, and how do you access quantum databases with incredible security and so forth. So it's an exciting project that's underway. We have another one that we call OASIS, and that stands for Optics for Autonomous Services and Interactive Systems. And what it really is the recognition that all of the interfaces between you and what I'll call the digital world, the cloud, et cetera, all of those interfaces, if you think about it, they're all optics. And whether it's sensing things, self-driving cars with LiDAR, all kinds of 3D imaging technologies, or churning information, face recognition from an iPhone, and then conveying that back to you through displays and so forth. So all of it's optics, and we think it's just in its infancy. The tools, as cool as they are today, we think they're pretty crude still. So there's going to be an interesting half a century of development that we're excited about there. And I think most people, I don't know how in touch you are with the students that you're here to support, but very few people really understand how pervasive and enabling optics is in your everyday lives. And it's what makes the internet work. It's at the heart of medical diagnostics. It provides remote sensing from satellites in space for everything from national security to environmental science. And we're still discovering really basic fundamental new physics at the interaction of light and matter on the quantum scale. And so it's hard to convey, but a great example that we often use to illustrate how much this is part of your life is your smartphone. If you're like me and you leave it on a counter when you head off to work, all of a sudden you get a panic because it's such a critical part of everything we do. And certainly you're aware of these amazing cameras that we used to laugh at when they first came out. You said, you're never going to be able to make a real camera like that. Well, we know better today. And they have these beautiful color displays and optoelectronics. So you think, all right, that's really cool optics, but you don't really realize how much more there is. And inside your iPhone is a processor chip that has 20 billion, 19 billion transistors on it. And to be able to print something that small with 19 billion transistors requires this very exotic, extreme ultraviolet optical lithography that when people proposed that, we all thought that sounded ridiculous too. Well, it works, and now it's in mass production all over the world. You don't think about the fiber optics. You think about your cell phone connecting to a base station. But once you're at that base station, it goes out over fiber optics around the globe, over fibers. And then it goes into data centers. And the data centers may have 1 million servers in them. And they're all connected up by fiber optics and lasers and photonic integrated circuits. You know about integrated circuits with lots of transistors. Now we have photonic integrated circuits, which have lots of lasers and modulators and detectors and waveguides on them. So it's miniaturizing all this stuff. It's astounding technology. So that's a great example of optics in your everyday life. But the other piece of that you don't realize is that our graduates here in the Wyant College of Optical Sciences are literally behind many of those innovations. So your iPhone has thousands of tiny lasers for face recognition, LiDAR, and proximity sensing. Those were invented by our 2021 alumnus of the year, Jack Jewell, one of our graduate students from the college. And our graduates today get hired by Apple to work on those very same amazing cameras. They work on, they get hired by a company out in California that makes these EUV lithography tools. And they innovate new ideas for photonic integrated circuits. They create new biomedical optics that will improve your healthcare and innovate optics for really sometimes mind-boggling advances in fundamental physics that are surprising to all of us. So that kind of talent is what we have here. And in the same breath, I'll say that's why in today's climate, to many of us, it's very frustrating that people don't seem to make the connection that the immediate effect of all the dramatic budget cuts you read about in the headlines to higher education, the immediate impact of that is going to be to reduce the nation's capacity to produce the talent that creates all that stuff. That's the immediate effect. So the very students that we're here to recognize today, they're the ones that, future students are the ones that are going to be impacted by that. So it's frustrating to us. It's the engine of tomorrow's prosperity and innovation. I'd like to see commitment to continue to support research and higher education. Having said that, despite those challenges, our Wyant College is working, I'll use the word feverishly, to address what we perceive as the insatiable appetite the world has for new applications of optics and photonics. And the college is in the middle of a really fabulous growth with 15 new endowed chairs. About half of them are filled now. And that was enabled by Jim Wyant, the former dean and entrepreneur who contributed large amounts of funding and did it in a way that's encouraged others to join and support the college. And also we have the university contributed a brand new research building that's connected to the Minell complex. It's the Grand Challenges Research Building with lots of new laboratory and office spaces to house that $100 million new complex. Our college is also kind of special because we have a really strong relationship with industry. And you don't think of universities necessarily working that closely with industry, but in our case, about 35% of our funded research, which is the lifeblood of the college, is funded by research partners. And I'll compare that to a national average of about 7%. So it's much, much higher. And you may think, oh, well, we just found a new place to go, try to get money to support our activities and so forth. But it's much, much more than that. When we work with industry partners, if we develop a trust with them, they will share with us problems that, they're afraid that their competition would know they have these problems. They'd be vulnerable. But if they have a trusting relationship with us, they'll share problems that nobody else even knows exists. And so sometimes we get to be the first ones to take a crack at solving a problem that nobody else even knows about. So then 10 years later, when people cite your publication, they say, wow, you were a genius. The answer is yes, of course. No, the answer is that we were the first ones to have a crack at the problem. And so that kind of relationship with industry is actually a very strong intellectual opportunity that we're really glad to be able to support. So as these students, graduating students, as they enter the workforce and launch their careers, I know they're going to be doing things that we would have thought were just not possible when we were younger. We've all witnessed that over and over again. And so once they imagine some way cool new thing that they think they can do, they now have the tools and the knowledge and experience to actually be able to realize that and make it a reality. So when we introduce the students, we're going to have a slideshow, and it'll say where each student, if they provided the information, where each student is going to be headed. So keep an eye on that. You'll see this incredible diversity of destinations where people are going. Okay, well, I've talked a lot about optics and technology and so forth, but in the end, it's all about people. It's about the talent that we have in the students, the talent that we have in our faculty, getting the best students, best faculty. And I'm eager to introduce the faculty that we have here in attendance. I've got to get to a place where I can see everybody. Okay, on the end, Daewoo Kim. And then Mike Knopfziger, Professor Saikat Guha, Professor DK Kang, Professor Jennifer Barton, Professor Travis Sawyer, and Professor and Associate Dean for Research for the College of Engineering, Mark Van Dyke. And then in the back row, Professor Brandon Shalafo. And Research Professor Mehmet Akbulut. And Professor Ron Driggers. And Professor Meredith Kupinski. And Professor Lars Fernlid. And Professor Weimin Zhao. And Professor Florian Willemitzer. And then our associate deans for academic programs, graduate academic affairs, Dean Brian Anderson. And then associate dean for undergraduate academic affairs, Professor John Koschel. All right, John, I think you win with the biggest fan club. Yeah. All right, I think many of you know, maybe not everybody, but our undergraduate degree, we do in tight coordination with the College of Engineering. Within the College of Engineering, our undergraduate program, in some sense, looks kind of like a department within engineering, and students, and this is the best way we can get students into optics because they don't know what it is. So in their sophomore year, they finally figure it out, and we try to get the best ones, Mark. So it's a pleasure for me to introduce Professor Mark Van Dyke, who's the Associate Dean for Research for the College of Engineering, to share a few of his thoughts for today's celebration. So Mark.
Caller. So let me start by thanking Dean Koch. He didn't mention this, but he's retiring at the end of the month. And so we should all give him a huge round of applause for his years. Many years of service to the university and to the college. So thank you, Tom. Yeah, it's been amazing to work with you. So Tom explained why I'm here. So I just want to welcome everyone and offer my congratulations to all the graduates on the behalf of Dean Hahn, the Dean of the College of Engineering. I want to address the graduates, but they moved you all the way to the back to make room for all of these important people here toward the front. How many of you are earning your PhD today? Putting him or her through? The students got that. This is my 21st spring commencement, and it never gets old. I love the look of excitement on the faces of the graduates and the joy and the pride that swells from the family members and friends and supporters that are here. We are enormously proud of you. We at the university, we in the college. Earning a STEM degree, an engineering degree, is very, very hard. You are unique and special individuals. You've all followed your own journey to arrive at this day. While some of you may have seemed calm, cool and collected to we, the faculty, or to your peers, everyone struggles at hard things, and so your achievement is even more notable. Each of you is unique and special, and please know that you are a source of pride for this university. You are a source of pride for your college. It is an amazing achievement, and especially you are a source of pride for the faculty that work with you on a day-to-day basis. All of these folks here are tremendously proud of you as well. As Dean Koch alluded to, these are, I'll call them unusual times. It's pretty challenging in higher ed right now. The world seems very chaotic and uncertainty at the university. For you all, the graduates, the job market may seem daunting and difficult to figure out, but know that your skills, STEM skills, engineering skills are in demand, and a degree from the University of Arizona will serve you well. But I ask you to think about your degree, your skill set, and your career, not just as a way to earn a living, but a way you can make an impact. Engineers and scientists are natural problem solvers. As you gain more skills and experience, your ability to look at the world and its challenges will become even more unique and more needed. I urge you to embrace your innate abilities, not only to lift up yourself and your family, but your community and your field. Be the leader that your community needs for you to be. Take on that mantle of responsibility because you are uniquely suited to broaden understanding, offer solutions, mobilize resources, and reach difficult goals. And find time to give back to your discipline. Society needs more people like you. You are a diverse group, to be sure, but one that is especially good at doing hard things, at finding ways to be successful. Keep in mind that everyone who started this journey is not here today. Not everyone who starts an engineering degree completes it. Your discipline needs you, the University of Arizona needs you to come back and engage with the students who are just like you were 4 or 5 years ago, way back then, even if only to offer words of encouragement and a glimpse of what a day like today can mean for them. So again, congratulations. Well done. Enjoy the day.
Thank you, Mark. Got to pull this back down out of the stratosphere. There we go. So now it's a great pleasure for me to introduce John Koschel, who's our Associate Dean for Undergraduate Academic Affairs. And John will get our program underway, starting with individually introducing our bachelor's degree graduates, as they're called. This will be followed by our graduate degrees and introduced by Professor Brian Anderson, our Associate Dean for Graduate Academic Affairs. So John, welcome.
Thank you, Tom. I'd like to have the undergraduates come up to the side and get ready. While they're coming up here, I'd like to recognize a lot of the academic program staff that makes all of this possible. In the back, we have Ruth Corcoran, who runs the front office. We have Dave Bognar helping on the technology. Over here on this side, we have Jeannie Cangiel, who's our graduate advisor. Becky Fontaine helps us out in the office. Mark Rodriguez, he makes sure there's funding. Amber Sorgel is our undergraduate advisor. We have Julissa Alvarez here, who is taking photos. Gretchen Werge is running the slideshow. And of course, Chanel Lemon is the one that made all this possible. She was the event coordinator. So thank you to all the academic program staff. I think they got everything. Our first BS is Adam B. Heathland, and he's going to become an optical engineer at Neuralink. Second is Christopher Kuiper. He's our valedictorian for the undergraduates, and he will start the Masters of Optics program. Kobe Mercea. He's starting his Masters in Optics. We like cheering. So. Alia Nichols. He's going to be an applications engineer at Zygo. Anna Lindsay. She will be an optical engineer at Daylight Solutions. Stuart Nickel. He's doing his master's in optics at the University of Arizona. Eliana Hara Stilson. She's our outstanding senior and will start the PhD program here at the University of Arizona. Olive Mayer. She will also start her PhD in optics at the University of Arizona. Joseph Edmund Campion Roa. He'll be an optical engineer at Edwards Air Force Test Center. Brendan Bamberg. He's going to start his master's in optics. Noah Hasegawa. Rudranch Saxena. He got our Wildcat Award and he's going to work in industry. Dennis Shaw. He's starting his master's in the optics program. Chiyun Wan, or better known as Adam for our faculty. He's going to start in the master's program. Aditya Vijay Kumar. He's going to the Danish Technical University to start his master's. Sophia Rojas. She's winning. She's starting her master's in optics. Kama Konechny. She will start an engineering leadership program at Edmund Optics. Dean Burros. He's going to start as an electronics engineer at AFTC. I'd like to call the undergraduates back up for a group picture. If you are taking pictures during this, make sure Jalissa, our photographer, has room. Do not impede. All these photographs will be made available to you. Let's hear it for our undergraduates. Congratulations. We will be moving on to our graduate students. Before I call Brian up, I'm going to do a couple things. First, we are recognizing our distance students who finished our certificate. From the 3 students up there, none of them are here. So let's hear a round of applause since we're beaming this out. And now I'd like to call forward Professor Florian Wilhelmitzer, and he's going to say a few words.
Good afternoon. My name is Florian Wilhelmitzer. Today, I would like to invite you to celebrate with me the academic achievements of my master's student, Enrique Peña, who suddenly passed away last month by a tragic health event. At the brink of his master's defense and graduation, our friend, labmate, brother, and son was taken away from us far too soon. Although our entire college remains in deep grief and shock, I want to take this opportunity today and celebrate Enrique's contribution to science, and I want to thank Enrique for everything that he gave to this college community. Enrique was a remarkable student. It was a true honor for me to witness his professional and personal growth, especially in these final months of excitement and intense preparation. In our group, Enrique's work focused on the modeling and optical characterization of realistic tissue phantoms. His research played and continues to play a vital role in the development and testing of novel imaging techniques. These techniques may one day help with the early detection of cancer and vascular diseases. His contributions will remain an important part of our work and a lasting part of his legacy. I'm very happy to have Enrique's parents here with us today. His father shared with me earlier that Enrique's time in Tucson was likely one of the happiest times of his life. That happiness came from all of you, his friends, classmates, and mentors, who welcomed him, encouraged him, and lifted him up. I want to thank our community for standing together during this difficult time and for embodying the spirit of support that Enrique deeply valued. In that spirit, and to support his family in this time of loss, please consider also contributing to the fundraiser organized by Enrique's friends to help with funeral expenses. Now let us pause for one moment of silence. Let us honor Enrique's memory, reflect on his life and achievements, and hold his family and friends in our hearts. Thank you. Although Enrique cannot stand with us today, his spirit and his enthusiasm will always remain with us. It is now my great honor to invite Enrique's parents to the stage to receive Enrique's master diploma on his behalf. Mrs. and Mr. Peña, please join me on the stage to celebrate Enrique's achievements.
Okay, I'd like to now invite Associate Dean Associate Dean Brian Anderson up to the stage to award our master's degrees.
I'd like to begin by asking our Masters of Science graduates to line up along the west area in preparation for coming across the stage. And while they are lining up, I want to recognize our distance learning master's students who are not able to be with us today. Their names are up on this slide. For those of you who are not aware, we have a very large and vibrant Masters of Science community of students who are across the world working towards their degree remotely. Let's give a big round of applause for these distance students. All right, we'll begin with our local master's students. Colton McLean, advisor Dewa Kim. His research is in subsurface damage detection in optical materials using specialized confocal microscopy techniques. Jared Martin, advisor Jose Sassian. Samantha Andrews, whose research is in a comparison of deflectometry and interferometry tests on a light-weighted optic advisor with advisor Daewoo Kim. Chase Toncheff, whose work was in implementation of stray light analysis, advisor Jose Sassian, and also our outstanding TA award. Justin Scott, whose research is in a retroreflector for primary mirror health diagnostics in ITER. Not sure. Advisor Jose Sassian. William Reynolds, advisor Jose Sassian, and his thesis is in the art and application of extended shutter. Kyle Daub. Research was in evaluation and correction of narcissus in infrared systems with cooled focal plane arrays under advisor Jose Sassian. Timothy Horner, who worked with advisor Brandon Chalifo. Jacob Tashinsky, who worked with Professor Kan Q. Demetrius Ramirez, who worked with Daewoo Kim and Casey Struber. Justin Schneider, who worked with Daewoo Kim on stray light analysis and control, segmented mode lens bonding. Hayden Kim, who worked with advisor Daewoo Kim on on-orbit commissioning phase space telescope alignment using blind scanning search. Maxim Duque, who worked on optomechanical design and stray light analysis for unobscured off-axis telescope with advisor Daewoo Kim. Sebastian Magri, who worked with advisor Matt Eichenfield on acousto-optic photonic integrated circuits. Evan Brorby, who worked on miniaturization of polarimetric endoscope for advanced cancer screening with advisor Travis Sawyer. Michael Nesda, who worked on development of multi-slit-based in vivo confocal ophthalmoscope with Dongkyun Kang. Carolyn Hoken, who worked on stability of thin films and stress from ultrafast laser-induced nanograding structures with advisor Brandon Shalafo. Thomas Ziccarelli, who worked on phononic and acoustoelectric devices with advisor Matt Eichenfield. Ian Winsky, who worked with advisor Mohammed El-Kabash on exploring the theoretical application of thin film physics to produce a flat lens in the extreme ultraviolet regime. Winona Escher, who worked with advisor Brandon Shalafo on surface roughness arising from ultrafast laser techniques performed on glass for fabricating X-ray optics. Magdoot Biswas, who worked with advisor Daewoo Kim on temporal variability in magnetically actuated deformable mirror surface measured via interferometry. Wei-Ji Chen, who worked with advisor Mohammed El-Kabash on radiative cooling. Well, I'd like to invite all of our master's recipients back to the stage for a group photo. While they're coming back up, a big round of applause for all of them. Our PhD recipients are already lined up, so I'd like to welcome them to the stage to receive their degrees. Kevin Chu Figueroa, whose research is in beyond the broadband diffraction limit, breaking the spatio-angular trade-off with achromatic diffractive beam splitting from snapshot light field to pictographic array camera imaging. Advisors John Koschel and Travis Sawyer. Rebecca Sue, optical metrology for reflective and refractive systems, working with advisors Daewoo Kim and James Schwiegerling. Luke Somerville, who worked with advisor Ron Driggers on targeting performance of superband camera systems. Jacob Barker, who worked with advisor Pavel Palinkin on ultrafast parametric laser technology for strong field science in long wave infrared. Josh Magnus, who worked with advisor Con Q on advances in nonlinear microscopy and applications. Yuan Yuan's son, who worked with advisor Ron Liang on computational multidimensional imaging. Masafumi Sego, who worked with advisor Meredith Kapinski on polarimetric tomography for anisotropic samples. Natsum Alexander Lima Abularak, who worked with advisor Travis Sawyer on from investigation to endoscope, optical biomarkers for cancer diagnostics. Justina Bonaventura, who worked with advisor Travis Sawyer on advancing label-free imaging for understanding tissue structure and health. Dominique Nikki Galvez, who worked with Dr. Jennifer Barton on advancement of microendoscopes for the early detection of ovarian cancer. Margaret M. Allard, who worked with advisor Russell Whitty on guidance, optimization, and ultrasound aberration correction for neuronavigated transcranial acousto-electric brain imaging. Paola Al-Yayei, who worked on single frequency fiber lasers in the near infrared region with advisors Nasser Pegambarian and Bob Norwood. Wenhua He, who worked with advisor Saikat Guha on harnessing the spatial degree of freedom for quantum photonic sensors. Ian Tillman, who worked with advisor Saikat Guha on continuous variable quantum networks, a layer-based approach. Ashleisha Harshada Patel, who worked with advisor Saikat Guha on quantum network protocols and architectures. Rajit Dara, who worked with advisor Saikat Guha on quantum communications with near-term quantum networks. PhD graduates, I'd like to get you to come back to the stage for a group photo. Let's give them all a big round of applause. Half of you can come on upstairs too.
I'd like to welcome John Koschel back to the stage.
Thank you. We're going to be recognizing the valedictorians, both for the undergraduate and for the graduate. They're going to come up and give a short presentation. First, we're going to have our undergraduate valedictorian, Christopher Kuiper.
Hi, everyone. I may have finished writing this speech after midnight last night, but I know some brilliant professors who write their exams the same way, so I think I'm in good company. One of the first things that we heard as prospective optics students was the question, what is optics? The answer came in a talk from the college. Optics is fast, optics is slow, optics is big, and optics is small. Well, 3 years of optics has gone by fast. It certainly is big, too. The opportunities we've unlocked and the experiences we've gained in this program are beyond anything I would have imagined when I listened to that lecture years ago. But for me, it was the small things that have made this time so meaningful. From seeing everyone show off their proud work at Design Day, to watching snow fall outside the library at midnight, the time spent talking in and outside the classroom, and getting to witness classmates transform into friends. Everyone in this room probably knows that the world is about to receive a class of hardworking and competent optical engineers. What you should also know is that it will get some of the most kind, caring, and selfless people I've ever had the pleasure of knowing. Without their support and influence, I would not be in this position speaking today, nor do I think I would be the same person that I have become. I'm so grateful that optics is small, because it gives me hope that my path will cross theirs many more times in our future careers. I would be remiss not to mention the faculty of this incredible college. People in this department, whether they're staff, faculty, or students, feel connected in an almost tangible way. We are connected by an excitement to learn and to explore, a sense of wonder. It's something I've seen in the faces of middle school students when we melt pennies with a Fresnel lens. And in our coursework, even when we were in the thickest weeds of a topic, tired and overwhelmed, the clarity of what a privilege it was to be learning these beautiful, fundamental truths about how the world works would pierce through. For the painstaking way that our professors shared these truths with us and the wonder that came with, I am deeply grateful. To my fellow students, I hope you will always remember the importance and elegance of what we've learned here. I wish you the best of luck with what you do next. And whether those things are big or small, fast or slow, timeless or cutting edge, we all now have the privilege to create beautiful things. To everyone who supported us along the way, I speak for all of us when I say, we couldn't have made it this far without you. Thank you.
Thank you, Christopher. Now I'm going to recognize our graduate valedictorian, Justina Marie Bonaventura.
Hello, everybody. First of all, I'm so honored to be here today talking to all of you. And I wanted to start out by saying how grateful I am to my family and friends, advisor, lab mates, faculty who have all brought me to this point. Thank you so much. Would not be who I am if it weren't for you. Sort of similar to what Chris is saying, I also had a little bit of trouble writing this speech. May have also finished after midnight, who's to say? Um, because I've never had an opportunity to speak like this before, and I want to impart some great wisdom upon you all. But I am afraid that a big part of valedictorian might be just that you're kind of good at taking tests, which is not always deeply transferable to other life skills. But there is something really nice about taking tests and academic success because there is right answers, which is very satisfying. You can study, come into school, write down all the right answers, and hopefully get some good points, good academic points for success. In grad school, got to experience doing research where there's a little bit less certainty. You're sort of standing at the edge of what we know and dipping into the unknown, hoping to find something that statistically probably isn't happening by accident. Some big lessons I've learned through doing research throughout my PhD is that the closer you look at a problem, the harder it is to definitively know things. But the good news in research and many parts of life is that you don't actually need to look that close in many applications, so that's good. And it's nice to know that you'll never run out of questions that you can investigate and things that other people have already investigated and written lots of papers about. Certainty is comforting when you can find it. That's because in life, there's so little certainty about how things will go. There's some pros and cons to this. The cons being, of course, sort of the potential for bad things to happen and the dread that comes along with that, but it's best not to dwell on that. The pros being that because of this, you have to enjoy the life that you are given when you can and try not to take things too seriously when you don't need to. Because everything can change in an instant. The people you have now might look a lot different or might be a lot different in a few years. Your life could be different in a few years. And that's not to say that nothing matters. That's to say, figure out what matters and hold on to that. Regardless of the pros and cons and what we can glean from looking on the sunny side of life, there have been, will be, and currently are lots of challenges that are really difficult to bear in life. And I hope for my fellow graduates, and everyone, honestly, that you can take your accomplishments from here today and hold those up as testaments to your resilience and strength. Ideally, our degrees will land us super cool jobs where we'll make lots of money. But more than that, graduating is a landmark of how far we've come. All of us have committed years of our life and hard work and struggled to finish these degrees. I hope this helps you to trust yourself as you move forward. You may not be able to hand everything that life throws at you, but you sure as hell can put up a good fight. All of that being said, I am so grateful for the last 5 years that I've gotten to spend with all of you studying light. For those of you who know me well, you know that I've been a big fan of light for a long time because it's super cool and beautiful. But this sort of started years back when I was in my undergrad and I read Plato's allegory of the cave, which really hit hard in the way that philosophy really can when you're 18. In this story, there's a bunch of people in a cave chained up so they can only see the light reflecting off the back wall of the cave their whole lives. This is all they experience of the world. Then there's a prisoner who escapes, goes out, sees the world, and comes back to tell the others all about it, and they cannot comprehend this prisoner's experience of the world beyond. This deeply inspired me at the time because this was the first time that I considered our experience and knowledge of the world to be subjective and limited. And light is a crucial component of our perception and what we see and know. Our own visual systems are the cave walls shaping how we experience the world. And I think what's super exciting about having gotten to spend so much time doing optics research and learning about light and the work that all of us do in this college is that we get to change and expand upon the limitations of human perception. We get to peek around the corner of the cave of what is previously known, both directly through better intraocular lens technology and indirectly through telescopes that expand the limitations of our knowledge of the universe and biomedical optics, which help us better understand our own biology. We literally get to change how people see the world. There's great power that comes along with this. As we part ways and I'll head out in different directions, I ask my fellow graduates to consider who you give this power to. We are the future of optics, and we have the power to steer which direction the world looks. Thank you so much, and good luck.
Thank you, Justina. One last event. We're going to recognize our outstanding students. Not all of them are graduating here. Our outstanding teaching assistant for a graduate course was Paola Luna. Our outstanding graduate student was Laura Sawyer. Our outstanding undergraduate course teaching assistant was Chase Tonchev. Our outstanding undergraduate senior was Eliana Stilson. And the Wildcat Award goes to Rud Ronch Saxena. Congratulations, everyone. And now I'll call back to the podium, Dean Thomas Koch.
My optics. Well, if you saw this big grin on my face over there, that was real. It's a lot of fun to have this event. It's my 14th year. I missed 1 year, I think, when I was sick at the time, but this is one of the most fun things we get to do, to recognize all these students. As Mark mentioned, I'm retiring this year, and in fact, next Friday is my last day in the office. So they say time flies when you're having fun. I guess it does. But being here with everybody today is one of the most enjoyable and rewarding things associated with this job of being dean. What an amazing group of achievers and students. I'd like to give them one more round of applause while we're here. So Mark touched on some of these things. You know, I'm confident, and I think you heard that in some of the valedictorian speeches, that these students are really well positioned to have rewarding and challenging, impactful careers. But I bring this up each year, and I think one of the other aspects about our field and the amount of hard work that these students have done is that all those years of hard work positions you to have a career and a job where you actually have fun. And by that, if you're anything like me, you're constantly thinking of these puzzles and these things you're trying to figure out, whether it's in the shower in the morning or when you're sitting in your chair in your office or in the lab, just thinking about how you can solve things. And every once in a while, I know all of us here kind of ask ourselves that, geez, I can't really believe we get paid to do this. You know, it's fun. We actually enjoy it. So I think, you know, for the students out there, there's actually something to that. And the passion that you have for what you do, not everybody has that. And not everybody has that privilege. So you've worked really hard to get that. And it's actually a competitive edge because you're so enthusiastic and excited about what you're doing that you inherently work harder at it, and you'll keep excelling, and it will be a real competitive career advantage for you. At least that's what I tell my own kids. Anyway, I think you've earned those rewards, but you've also, as was also said, you've benefited from a lot of different kinds of support. And sometimes that's goes all the way back to, you know, the educational infrastructure of the nation and elementary schools and all of the things and commitments that people make to bring you along the way and get you here to the University of Arizona where you are today. Everybody always says, you know, you got to pay back. And sometimes colleges mean, you know, we want you to give back as an alumnus and send us checks. I don't really think of it that way. I think your payback is going to be to continue to excel. And, you know, you're really well positioned to have a lot of impact on the world. And so just by keeping focused, staying excited about what you do, you're all going to do amazing things. And as I said earlier, you know, you'll do things that we can't even imagine are possible. So just as you've risen to this moment here today, I know that you're going to take up the challenge in your careers and take all of us to a better future. And you're going to have fun doing it. So thanks again for everyone for joining us here. We have a chance to chill out a little bit and get together with each other and have some refreshments that'll be brought in, I guess, over on this side this time. And so just spend some time together. You can use your smartphone to take pictures of each other and send them around the world on the internet. So that's all I have to say. Thank you all for coming. Thank you, graduates. Thank our faculty and thank all your supporting family and friends. And let's enjoy the rest of our afternoon together. Thank you all. Oh, one more thing for the undergraduates back there. You need to take this moment to do your tassels. So you're going to go from right to left and join the world of college degree holders. So congratulations. Thank you, everyone.
A celebration to last throughout the years. So bring your good time.